Hello and welcome to Tucson, Arizona. I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Trent.
Hey, he is Trent today.
Oh,
All right.
okay. You want to change your name?
So I can also, we can do this one. Oh no, never mind. This screen.
Oh, like, subscribe, share, all those things Randy forgets every time till the very end.
Literally every time.
If you enjoy anything we talk about. Just throwing that out there.
Literally every time.
So we're like an hour into a video, and at the end of it, he's like, oh, yeah, do this.
By the way, like, subscribe, and share.
Do all of the things. So Shaw Classic, Strongman stuff. We can actually pull. So, because I was already doing a little bit of reading on Shaw Classic before you got here.
How big those guys are. They're so ginormous.
Dude, they're stupid big. So I go to this every year. Come on. I don't want tickets. Athletes.
You already have your tickets, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bought my tickets forever ago. And then I can come over here and we'll do camera and screen. Boom. So this is a Tucson boy. He claims he's from Texas because he moved to Texas. And then in big elite shows like Worlds or a Giants Live or Europe's or anytime he's going to Europe or anywhere else, he claims Mexico, which is hilarious because his family's from Mexico, but he's not.
Right.
He's from here. His mom lives 10 minutes from me. But Austin, dude's freaking monster, is awesome. Max, big Canadian, is the Wolverine. Wes Derwinski, big Canadian. Thomas Evans, big American. He was a football player. That dude's a sweetheart. Him and his wife both. So then...
How'd you get to meet him?
By going.
Yeah.
Okay.
He buys tickets and gets the backstage stuff.
So last year I did the like special floor seats and get the meet and greet and all that fun stuff after the show. So it's a 2-day show. The first year I went, so it was year 4 fourth year in a row. So the first year they only did the weekend. So it was a Saturday, Sunday. You do your big show. You could watch the Open, which is the amateurs, try to win, and the winner of the Open gets an invite to next year's the big show, the pro show. It's also a feeder system, so if you win that, you can easily get fed into other big prestigious shows. I'd imagine golf has kind of got a similar feeder system.
Right.
So Austin won the first year we went. He won the Open, and then he's been back to Shaw every year since. He's been at Worlds. He's bad. Max has podiumed at Worlds and won a bunch of other stuff. Wes, he's elite, but I don't think he's ever gone to be finals at Worlds. Thomas has been a finalist at Worlds. Shane Flowers. I'm really not familiar with Andre Foytu. He's not from here, so I don't really follow him very clearly. But anyway, so the first year they only had the weekend. So you'd go there, watch all day Saturday and Sunday, and then go home. Then the second year they created the expo. So at that event, you've got your big event center, just like TCC.
Mm-hmm.
But then outside of that, so it's not quite as big, but outside, it's more of a sports arena. Outside of that, there's another big building that they took over half of that for an expo. And then you had, do you know who Juji Mufu is?
No.
He's a freaking monster of a man, just muscles on muscles. But he got famous for doing like the splits while doing a clean and things like that. Like just doing insane feats of athleticism while also doing something kind of wild. Like doing a strict press on a medicine ball, things like that. He was there, but he's real big on grip strength.
Okay.
Like he used to do rock climbing. He actually does a lot of videos with some of the top rock climbers in the world. But he's got all these different grip equipment, and he's got the grip genie, so like an old school game genie.
Mm-hmm.
Dude's awesome. So he was there. Any of the athletes that have like products like T-shirts and stuff, some of those guys had a booth, and most of them were hanging out. So that's how I got to meet most of them that time. And then a lot of the guys will walk around the expo floor just hanging out, checking stuff out, meeting people, saying hi, taking pictures, autographs and stuff. So I got to meet quite a bit of guys doing that the second year. The first year I only got to meet a couple of guys. Just kind of, they'd come hang out at the edge of the barriers between events, or One guy like injured himself, so he dropped out early, but he'd still come out, watch other people, and then anyone lining up along to see him, he'd meet him, take a picture, or whatever. Because they're all super friendly because they know the sport's not huge. It's growing finally. It's really starting to make big strides, and it's thanks to people like the Mountain Nick was talking about from Game of Thrones, Eddie the Beast Hall. He's real big on YouTube. He's brought a lot of views to the sport. Brian Shaw being one of the most prolific lifters on the planet, and he's got a big following on YouTube and stuff. Like outside of the sport, he talks mostly about athletics. And he was actually Brian Shaw was actually an athletic, like sports medicine guy at ASU for years. So he actually has some ties to Arizona, but he's from Colorado, so he has his show at home. But yeah, so the second year I got to meet a lot more guys, and a couple other guys that are now retired showed up to like, sell shirts or whatever. Have you ever watched The Righteous Gemstones?
I haven't. I've seen little clips.
So in the fourth season,
I just haven't started it.
So it's really funny. In the fourth season, one of the dudes is one of my absolute favorite. He's been retired for years, Robert Oberst. He's in the fourth season of that show. And as that season was airing, he was there at the show, selling, signing stuff or whatever. But he's real big he was on Joe Rogan a few years ago, like 4, maybe 5 years ago. He was on with Rogan promoting a show that a couple of these guys did. But yeah, so I got to meet a bunch of the guys then. And then last year, the expo was twice as big. They had way more names. And a lot of those guys were still coming around, walking around. So yeah, mostly the dudes are super friendly and they want to meet people because it's something that almost every one of them recognize. Every one of them I've ever heard talk about it on any social media. They know that without the fans, their sport is nothing.
Right.
So they all seem to appreciate that. There's a handful of Europeans that don't come out walking around, and I think it's primarily because of the language barrier. Like there's a few Russians, there's a few Ukrainians, there's a lot of different comm block countries, and the guys that don't feel confident with their strength of the language don't really come walking around, but they will go out if you have the better tickets. They all do the after show, and then you can go meet them all. So I got to meet all the guys last year. It was for the first time. I was going to do it again this year, but my wife was like, I don't want to set right there because you have 2 rows of chairs on the floor. So you're right there. But we were the second row, and everyone there is my size or bigger. Like I'm an average size dude there, and last year when we went, I was 270. So I was quite a bit bigger. I'm only like 245 right now. So I was bigger last year, and I'm like small to average at this show. The first time I went, the dude I was sitting next to, we were joking, and he was like, what do you think the average caloric intake is in this building right now? Like for an hour? I was like, I don't know, dude, we're all putting down some calories. Everyone's walking around with like shakers of protein and stuff as you're walking through the event. Yeah, lots of food. But yeah, just everyone there is awesome, man. Like these are signed by like high level dudes. Like that's the Mountain right there. There's Kerry Shaw and Brian Shaw. Like I think I've got 4 title holders on these. Wow. And then this year I'm going to take them back because there's a few guys I missed. Last year I was actually, Nick knows all about this because it's kind of weird. It's surreal. Like in the moment it was very surreal. So 2 years ago I met my favorite strongman ever. And it's one of 2 brothers. And they're known as the world's strongest brothers. And they're from Scotland. So I got to meet my favorite. And then his younger brother is a 3-time world's strongest man title holder. So... And I meet Tom. The dude's 6'10", like 460. Natural. He's just a huge human.
Dude.
Wow.
And then his older
talking.
brother, he should be in here. That's him right there. This is Tommy Boy.
he looks like a football player.
He's known as the Albatross, dude. Okay, so he's 6'8" and currently 403.
Yeah, only.
Yeah. So he's 6'8". Sorry, I said 6'10". It doesn't matter once you're that tall. Like I'm doing this. I'm not quite 6 foot. What are you, 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'2".
Yeah, and you're still going to be doing this.
Yep.
So
It's like me to you.
the albatross. So I'm talking with him and then his older brother. And his older brother's been doing, he's my age, he's been doing this a lot longer. And so I meet Tom, I'm like, hey, bro, I'm a huge fan. And I turned to his brother, Luke, and I was like, but you're my absolute favorite. I was like, I'm sorry, Tom. And he was like, no, it's cool. Like, so Tom is autistic. Like,
Okay.
he's not like real deep into the spectrum, let's say, but he is on the spectrum.
Sure. It doesn't matter if you're barely on it or
Yeah, I just
severely.
You know.
like, but
Oh,
I'm just saying, like, I know that
learned a lot about autism,
I know that
really.
there is a difference. So, but he is still on the spectrum, which goes to show a lot, like what you're capable of. But his older brother has taken a lot of time out of his sessions to grow his brother into what he is. So he admires his brother like next level. So I knew he would understand where I'm like, bro, your brother is my absolute favorite. Like, dude's one of my heroes. He's fallen a little far from grace lately, but because he turns out he was cheating on his wife. So that kind of dings him in my eyes a little bit, but still. But so I got to meet both of them, and I was talking with their cameraman that whole time, like while I was waiting to meet them, because everyone came flooding out of nowhere. So I was talking to their cameraman, who I think is also like their video editor and everything else. He's like kind of runs their YouTube channel. And so I'm talking with him because I'm holding a camera. You know, I'm recording all this. And this is a year before I decided I was going to do a channel. I was like, I'm just going to record all this for me or whatever. So I'm talking with Tom. Well, then last year, so that was 2 years ago. So last year, we were going to go meet a dude, Kevin, out of Utah that, like, I've gotten to know pretty well now. Like, every time he's like, oh, hey, brother, how are you? Like, he remembers me, and we talk about just life. Mm-hmm. So we were getting ready to go meet him, and I forgot something in my truck. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go grab this out of my truck real quick. So I took off, and as I'm going by, Tom, the cameraman, and him were walking by. I was like, what's up, Tom? How you doing, man? He was like, hey. He has a deep-ass voice, hey. And then I walked by his cameraman. I'm like, what's up, Tom? How you doing today, brother? And he was like, he looks at me. He's like, how the hell do you know who I am? He's behind the camera. Like, he's not famous. And I was like, yeah, bro, remember last year? So anyway, I just said bye, and I ran by, grabbed my stuff, came back, and they were in the same spot. And he saw me. He was like, hey, bro, like, how do we know each other? I remember last year we were talking about cameras and stuff. He's like, that's right. Okay, yeah, I remember you now. Here. And he hands me his camera. So remember, he's Tom Stoltman's cameraman. He's staying there recording him meet and greet people. Hands me his camera and walks away. He goes, stay in the action. And I was like, okay, so now I'm Tom Stoltman's cameraman. Meanwhile, my wife is still waiting for me at Kevin Ferris's booth. And so I'm walking with him for like 10 minutes, dude. Like, just, I'm staying in it. People are running over, having them sign shirts, you know, wanting to take pictures and stuff. And I'm doing a good job. And his wife was watching the whole time. She knew what happened. And so she's like kind of chuckling off to the side, watching me and just kind of keeping an eye on things. And I'm staying in it. And after a little while, he was like, hey, Tom, who are you? And I was like, I'm Randy, bro. I got this. Don't worry about me. Just ignore the camera. And so he's like, well, where's Tom? And now his wife's giggling like crazy. And she's like, where's Tom? And I was like, I don't know, man. He walked away. And he's like, like, he was like,
baffled.
This isn't okay. Like, who are you? Why are you holding my camera? So then he eventually calls long enough. He's like, well, I'll take that. And I was like, bro, I got you. He's like, no, I'll take that. And he grabs the camera and he's like looking around for Tom. And now he's like upset. And Tom's off to the side talking to a bunch of people. And they had these like smoothie machines that were whey protein smoothies. And he's over there eating some of those and just chatting with people. And he's like, Tom. And he's like, hey, brother, thanks a lot for getting my back on that. I got to take a break and enjoy some of this for a few minutes. And I was like, hey, you got it. So then I go, and then my wife's blowing up my phone. I was like, I'm almost there. So I get there. She's like, what the hell took you so long?
Yep.
And I was like, I'll tell you about it in a minute. So then I talked with Kevin and Trey Mitchell. So Trey has won this a couple of times. Where is he at? He should be on here
Trey
because
right
he's confirmed. So this is the big thicket. In my opinion, this dude is the strongest man on the planet right now and has been for a while. He is just a monster. 350 at 6'4". And I've got pictures of me with most of these dudes. And that guy is like 2 of me wide and at least 2 of me thick. Like, his chest it's like a keg. So I'm BSing with him, and I took Lego men. I've got one out here I can show you, but they're classic Strongman Lego men. So they're wearing like the leopard print leotard or whatever, and then like the big crazy circus bell and the big mustache. I found a bunch of those at a Lego store and was giving them to all them as a gift because it's like super easy to throw in your pocket. It's not going to take up space or whatever. So I gave it, but my wife went through and found something to like attach to each guy to make it look like the guy. So she found the big wide cowboy hat for him, and like found different hats and mustaches and beards and stuff for all the other guys. The Stoltmans go by the spicy Stoltmans, so like their logo is a chili pepper.
Okay.
So I found one that a Lego guy that actually is wearing a chili pepper suit. So I gave him one with a chili pepper and then one that looks like a strongman. So he was like, "Oh, thanks, man." And then like it's actually was on. I made his channel several times in that weekend because I was in the mix so much. So we meet with him. We meet with Kevin. We hang out with them for a little while, and then Tom walks by again. And then I start talking to Tom, the cameraman, again, while Tom Stoltman's getting a massage because I got like this massage booth right there too. So then we're talking for about 40 minutes, and I record about 25 minutes of conversation about editing videos, thumbnails, different software to use, like all this stuff. I was like, "Hey, bro, when I get back, I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel. You've been running this one for years. Like, do you have any tips, like quick and dirty tips for me?" He was like, "Absolutely." And about 10 minutes in the conversation, I'm like, "Crap, I should be recording this." So then I turn on my camera and then I record the rest of the conversation. I've never edited it and like uploaded it, but I've referred back to that video several times in doing this. So this year I'm 3D printing a ton of stuff to give to the guys. So, and they're going to be getting a chili pepper, like garden gnome. So I've got them up there on the shelf.
Yep.
And then the yellow ones are just big, strong garden gnomes that most of the other guys will be getting. I got a T-Rex one up there because Evan T-Rex Singleton, he goes by T-Rex. So I give him a T-Rex printed one. So I'm trying to find something fun to give everybody. But yeah, dude, the show is awesome. And that's how I started just getting to know a lot of these guys. And which one?
So all the stuff that you see
So
that
this
they're
is-
doing, they do different competitions, and
So
you don't have to win each individual one. Like you get points for where you place, and then whoever has the most points at the end.
Wins,
So it's kind of a
yeah, it's an accumulated.
Yeah.
So this is T-Rex. So he's 6'6", 350. Sweetheart of a guy. I actually couldn't stand him for years because he's from the WWE. So he still has that big persona.
Sure.
For years, I thought he was a dick. And now I've gotten to like hang out with him several times.
Oh.
He's super personable, super friendly, like really friendly, like lovable guy. And I'm like, all right, man, you're cool. Like I thought you were a dick, but I was wrong.
By the way, we try not to swear, and I don't know if that's a word that you should say or not on here, but we try
Which
not
one?
to swear. Dick.
Yeah. Well, he was.
So
I'm trying not to drop any F-bombs or like anything crazy.
yeah. Just so you're aware, we didn't say anything, but
This dude's a sweetheart. Let's see if I remember correctly. He's a cop. Yeah, he's a Royal Canadian RCMP.
Okay.
which one was the guy that
He's a Canadian
did pipe
cop.
fitting? Like that was his
Oh,
job.
Kevin Ferris.
Kevin Ferris,
He's
okay.
not coming this year.
Oh, gotcha.
He's the dude out of Utah.
Okay.
He's the one who signed that and gave it to me. The hat that I wear every day, it's his hat. That blue thing on top of the Pokemon boxes.
Uh-huh.
That blue sleeve, that's his autograph. That's his logo. That's his company. So he's a pipe fitter.
Okay.
And we were talking, and I knew that about him before meeting him. So year 2 of going there, I see him standing off there talking. I was like, "Oh, cool, man! I'm going to meet Kevin." And I'm a big fan of Kevin Ferris. He's known as the Giant Slayer because he's on the smaller side of the pro level and can keep up with all these dudes.
Yeah.
He's actually set several world records in different events. So, and I think one of them, he's beaten one of them himself, and he was last year's holder. Like he's beat his own record a couple of times.
Jeez.
So, but super nice guy. So I was like, man, I'm gonna go meet this dude. So I go over there and I'm talking to him, and I'm talking to him about he had just set one of the world records, and so I was like, hey man, that was amazing, good job, whatever. And he's like, oh, thanks, man. And he's like we're doing like the sideways hug to take a picture. And he's still kind of standing like this, side to side, talking to me a little bit. And then I started talking to him about pipe fitting. And I didn't realize it at the moment. My wife had to point it out, like, as we walked away. She, as I'm talking to him, we wound up talking for like 20 minutes about work. I was like, yeah, man, I just left this big pipe job. I was doing, 4-inch Schedule 80 or Schedule 40, whatever the job was. I was like, yeah, we do all roll grooving. We don't do any welding. And I just start talking to him about work. And he turns. And then now we're locked in conversation. So before it was like, oh, yeah, man, thanks a lot. You're saying the same thing everyone else says to me. Cool, whatever. Have a good day. But then I started talking about something he wasn't prepared for. And he was like, oh, dude, you do pipe fitting? So then we're talking for a while, right? I'm not even looking at like where he's standing. We're hanging out, chit-chatting, just cutting it up like me and you would. And then after a while, my wife's like, hey, man, other people are waiting. Let's get the hell out of here. And I was like, all right, man, cool. I was like, it's great to meet you, bro. Thanks for the pictures. And I leave. And I had him sign a hat that I was getting signed by everybody. And that night we get back, and Brian Shaw uploads a video. And it was him going around the expo, like recording all the booths that are being set up the day before.
Brian Shaw's on that set up this whole
He's
thing.
the
By
owner
way,
of the
he's
whole
owner
show.
of it. Yeah, if you
So
didn't catch that.
he goes, and this was his last show. This was Brian Shaw's last event before he retired. This is his retirement event. So he's walking around, he's talking to everybody, and he goes to Kevin, and then I'm like, oh, Kevin was wearing a shirt with that symbol on it, with that logo. And I was like, huh. And he was like, and then he starts talking to Kevin, and he's like, yeah, my sister just made that for me. This is my this is my gear.
My
He's got
brand.
this is my brand. So he's got all these t-shirts. So I'm like, the whole time I'm talking to this guy, he never once said, hey bro, do you want a hat or something? Like, here's all my things I'm selling. He never let me know he was associated with the booth he was near, because he wasn't like behind anything. He was just kind of out like in a walkway talking. And so I'm like, man, what the hell? So the next morning we go and I beeline right to his booth, and he's still standing there. So he gets done talking to somebody, and he's like, oh, hey, what's up, brother? How you doing? Like, he remembered me from the day before. And I was like, hey, man, how long did we talk for yesterday? He's like, I don't know, man. It was like 15, 20 minutes. And I was like, yeah. And never once did you say, hey, bro, you're a fan. You're also a pipe fitter. Buy one of my shirts. And his wife's standing there running, and she's like, yeah, what the hell, man? You're the worst. I was like, bro, he's like, what am I supposed to do? Go, hey, bro, that's awesome that we got so much in common. Buy some of my shit. I said, yes, that's literally what you're supposed to do. And he was like, all right, man. So then I bought a bunch of his gear. And I was like, all right, man, I got to have you sign something, a hat, a shirt, or whatever. And he was like, and he leans over and grabs that little cooler koozie, and he goes, I'm giving this to him. He's also a pipe fitter. And then he signed it and just gave it to me. So that was just a gift from him. I had to buy it. But I wear his hat every day to work. My wife wishes I'd throw it away because I've had it for years now, and it's nasty.
It's disgusting.
But
I've
like,
seen it.
I show love. Like the dude showed love. I'm gonna represent his gear all the time. I got a couple of his shirts I wear all the time and stuff too. But yeah, no, it's an awesome sport. It's fun to watch. I've gotten several people into it. Butch, the only one of these shows I've ever missed was the very first one that they opened to the public. Because the very first Shaw Classic was in his garage during lockdown. He just invited all his invited all of his buddies over and did one. And so the next year was the first one that was actually open to the public. It's the only one I didn't make it to. And my buddy Butch and Bev, they did go. It's the only one they went to. It's the only one I've missed.
So I hope this guy never sees this and comes to kick my butt. But no, if you look at all these guys, they all look like they fit. They all look like they fit. They all look like they're strongmen. And then you get to this guy, and he looks like he's
Josh Spurgeon,
the dad bod.
He won.
Like just the way he's standing, and he's probably super strong.
He won last year. That was last year.
I noticed the thing, but I was looking at it, and I was like, he just doesn't look like he fits in, like, from that picture.
I got you.
If he was pulling on something, his arms were flexed, like he probably would, but he's just standing there like, if that was a food platter. Like, he looks...
You guys want some veg and some ranch?
But, like, he looks small, too, compared to the others in their
Absolutely.
pictures. Like, but he's obviously a strongman. I'm not... I saw it, and I was like, dad bod.
Well, you see that picture, and then the picture of Tom Stoltman right there, and you're like, that dude's arms is enormous.
Yes.
Yeah.
That dude's arms
Yeah.
aren't as
This
big.
dude, so this guy, so Bobby, he's got abs.
At
Really?
that size? Holy
Yeah, at
cow.
that
How big is
size,
he?
yeah.
350? I'm guessing.
335.
Oh, Jesus.
And he has abs. This dude is cut up right now, which is actually kind of a hindrance. I love you, Bobby, but you screwed up by losing too much weight too fast. Yeah, that was his name placard for his table last year. And I was like, hey, bro, we still have a sign? He was like, yeah, my wife didn't say I had to come home with it. And he signed it and gave it to us. He's the first one that gave me his time to, like, interview him. I got, like, a 12-minute interview of him on my channel.
Oh.
I was like, hey, what's with the camera? And I was like, just recording. Like, I still hadn't had the really, I was like, yeah, when I get home, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And he was like, oh, cool, bro. And he puts on a show out in Florida every year. And so I was talking to him about that show. And then he was like, actually, I'm really glad you brought it up. He goes, we haven't even announced this yet, but the name is changing of the show. And then he got into that. And then I gave him his Lego guy, and he was like, dude, this is better. I'm going to braid it into my beard, He's really cool.
He looks like he would be like the nicest guy. Looking at his face. He just looks like he would be super nice. Like,
I spent a lot of time hanging out with him last year.
You don't mess with anybody he likes, that's for sure.
He's a total sweetheart. Troy has competed with him a couple of times.
Okay. We know somebody from Comcast.
Okay.
And he's been in some of the competitions.
Yeah. He's competed against him.
And he's huge. Troy's
against
huge.
Trey. I think he said against Evan. But it was he's competed against this guy, Nick Gardione. He's a freaking monster because he
looks like the guy you'd get drunk with. Like that
for
picture,
sure.
like, yeah!
For sure. And with Austin, because Austin and Nick Gardione are really good friends with another strongman, and that other strongman put on his own show in Texas, and that's one of the shows that Troy competed in against with a lot of these guys.
Maxim?
Yeah, Maxime.
Maxime.
So the next thing, go ahead, Nick.
He looks like the guy you wouldn't understand at the bar. You were drinking with the other guy. He'd be talking in Scottish or something. Like, that's what his look is.
French Canadian.
Yeah. I could tell the Canadian flag.
Yeah, he's got the Quebecois kind of sound to him. He's got the thick accent.
Yeah. He comes over and says something to you. You're like, I didn't understand a word of that, but yes.
So the next surreal thing that happened, because his wife is a high level, she's actually probably the highest level or top 5 highest level women in the sport right now. And my wife has got like this huge girl crush on her. But this dude's super awesome. I met him a couple of times, but last year, again, a few surreal moments happened. Being Tom Stoltman's cameraman was the first one. I'm like, this is the most bizarre thing that's ever happened to me. So then later we go, and Brian Shaw, the guy who puts it on, had a big like speaking thing, Q&A in the back. And then after, because I'm a member of the Shaw Elite Club, after his thing, he called all of the members to come up and do a big group photo. So we all did a big group photo. And what was funny after the event, after they posted the photo, all of us in the chat being like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm the fat bearded one right there. You see me? Because most of us were about the same size and most of us are bearded. So everyone's like, oh, yeah, I'm the fat bearded one right there. You see me? I'm like, oh, yeah, right next to me, I'm the other fat bearded one. So it's just a bunch of fat bearded dudes saying, there's me. So we did that, and my wife was tired. It was like the end of the day. It was getting ready to shut down. So she's like, I'm going to go lay down in the truck and just go to sleep for a while. Just wake me up when we're leaving. I was like, okay. So I hang out. I do the photo. And then I go back to talk to Kevin. And then I interview Kevin for like 10 or 15 minutes. And then on my way out, I go out to the truck and I see Max running from the actual event center to the hotel. And he's just like cooking it. And he's not a small man. I mean, he's small compared to everyone else because he's only 6'4", 340, but that's a pretty big dude. And he's running. I was like, Max, the hell are you running for? He goes, I forgot my freaking shirt. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And I was like, well, you ain't running back. So I got in my truck and I drove over to the gate of the hotel. And I waited. And then he comes running out. And I had the passenger door open. I was like, get in. He's like, runs over, gets in. He's like, oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. So I drive him around to the front of the building that he needed to go into, because the Friday night before the event, the Friday night before, they have to do a big Q&A with the front row seat people. And I'm second row, so I didn't get that one experience. Not that it matters. I already got to meet most of these guys. And I still got to meet all of them at the end. So he gets out of the truck. He's like, "Thank you so much, bro. Thank you." And he closes the door. And my wife pops up in the back. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" I was like, "Maxine Boudreau was just in your seat." And she goes, "What?" And I was like, "There he goes." And she looks and sees him running up the stairs. And I was like, "Yeah, that was Max. I just gave him a ride." She's like, "What the hell?" She's like, "You have the most random experiences of anyone I know." I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty dope." He's a large man. And he made that Jeep Cherokee look real small. So he was like, bundled up into it. But super sweet dude. Also has set a ton of records. But yeah, has made it to third place at Worlds.
Yeah,
So
he looks like a cool dude.
yeah, he's a good dude. Austin's hilarious. Once I told him, I was like, "Yeah, Tucson." He was like, "Tucson, what's up?" Gave me a big old hug. And then we started talking about schools. He's like, "What school did you go to?" I was like, dude, I went to Marana." And he was like, "Oh, okay." And my wife's like, "Yeah, I went to Flowing Wells." He's like, seeping sewers." Like, so he even remembers like all the shit talk of Tucson. And then I started talking about where like the area I live in. He's like, "Oh, dude, my mom lives like 6 minutes from you." And I was like, "Oh, right on, dude." He's like, "Yeah, I'm there all the time." So I was like, "That'd be cool. I'd love to get in touch with him and be like, hey, man, next time you're in town, stop by and do a video." Yeah, everyone's really cool, man. And what they're capable of is just next level.
He reminds me of Dan.
Lucas Hatton, yeah, he's friendlier.
I can see that.
He's friendlier than Dan, and he's shorter,
Yeah.
6 foot 350, and he is definitely one of the probably 3 or 4 strongest men on the planet right now.
That's cool.
Well, he got third place at strongest man on earth.
Yeah, that was last year. That was his first. That was the first time he'd ever been, and yeah, took third. He should have gone. He could have won Worlds this year. Things didn't go his way, so. But yeah, he's a strong dude. Him and his trainer actually have one of my favorite channels to watch, just talking about strength. They've got their own channel. They talk like 45 minutes a couple times a week, sit down and talk about like other athletes, events, training techniques, things like that. They know their stuff. So yeah, thirds at Arnold's. He was America's Strongest Man in 23, second place in North America's Strongest Man in 23. So yeah, he's freaking strong, and he's faster than he seems like too. Because if you looked at him, he looks short and pudgy, but I mean 6 foot. He's short compared to everyone else in the field, but he's got giant hands. Like his hand. If you looked at him talking or whatever, you'd be like, "Oh, he's got short, fat hands." You meet him, his hands are actually like that much bigger than mine.
Jeez.
He's got really big hands, so he's got really strong grip strength. I mean, look at these freaking forearms. Like, dude can hold stuff, and grip strength is by far the most important strength you can have in the sport. I've actually argued that point with a few people online. Like, did you ever know? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I made a comment one day about grip strength being the most important factor in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the biggest weakness of every athlete. And some dude was like, tell me you've never competed or trained for these sports without telling me. Tell me grip strength is the weakest. Just running a mouth. And I'm like, yes, actually, I have trained for this sport because I was going to compete in the sport. I am surrounded by friends who do compete in the sport, and I've met the dude's highest level, at the highest level. And I've had this conversation with them. And I'm sorry, but when Max, you can go back and watch any Arnold's America Classic. There's one loading event, there's one moving event that is a ramped platform. So it's ramped and then has a flat top. And you start off with this frame made out of like railroad ties. And it weighs, I think it's almost 700 or 800 pounds. And you're holding on to these big bars, and you pick it up in a farmer's, and you run up the platform. And as soon as your frame hits the end of the platform, your time stops. It's a timed event. One man on the planet has ever been faster than him. One. And he's done it an awful lot. And he's, again, 6'4", 340. And you've got people like Brian Shaw and Tom Stoltman coming in twice his size, longer strides, bigger hands, longer arms, everything, and they can't come close to his time. The dude that beat him is literally twice his size, one of the largest dudes in the sport, and beat him by like fractions of a second. And that's because his hand strength is second to none. This guy can do a farmer's medley, so he'll pick up a frame, carry it, say 80 yards or whatever, set it down, pick up another implement, and come straight back. And the only time he lets go is when it's time to let go of the implement. Everyone else, twice his size, better at deadlifts, better at squats, whatever, they might have their strengths. They will set their implement down at least once, sometimes up to 3 or 4 times before they make it to the first finish line to bring the second implements back because their hands let go. They just can't. You just go until your hands just pull apart. That dude can outwalk anybody with weights in his hands. And so I got into it with that idiot online. I was like, tell me you don't know what the hell you're talking about without telling me you don't know. Like, hands, without your hands, you can't do shit. And it was all on a video about a guy getting ready to strap in and do a big deadlift, and he was putting on figure 8 straps. And an old man came walking by, I think he's the owner of the gym, started yelling at him, taking that crap off. And then he said one of the most awesome lines I've ever heard. If you can't hit it raw, she ain't yours. And he was like, what? And then all these people in the comments, it was like, yeah, dude, it works. It's double entendre, bro. It works either way. But if you can't do it without having an assistant to hold your hands closed, did you really make the lift? So, I mean, it really comes down to a conversation of people that are involved and care. But I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you can't hold it, did you really make the lift?
Don't know who that is, but that's my work phone.
It's a Vegas whorehouse.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland. So anyways, it's not necessarily why you came over here to talk about, but you were asking, and this is kind of the...
Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
This is the stuff I'm into. At 25 days, I cannot wait. Which means I'm leaving in 22 days. So there's a car leg press that they did. Yeah, weight over bar. The Hummer tire deadlift. Fingal's fingers. They have the arm over arm. The keg press.
Jeez.
Yeah, bench pressing kegs. And after every successful bench press, the next keg comes down. Yep, overhead, there's Trey. There's Big Brian. Hummer tire deadlift, buddy.
And how much is that?
That's about 1,200 pounds.
Jeez.
Yeah. The stone, the Fingal's fingers. Yeah. In all of these videos, I am somewhere. Because I've been to all of these.
So you said you were training for it.
I haven't. I gave up on that about a year ago. I was going to. Yeah, I'm so beat up, dude. I've got friends that still tell me I should. And they're like, dude, because I'm almost 40. So they're like, dude, you can always go do the, what do they call it? What's the old-timey person? There's a version for guys that are older. I'm trying to remember what the term is right now. But yeah, I've got friends that are still in it that are like, oh, man, you should. Anyways, what were you about to ask?
Oh, I was just going to ask what made you stop training for it.
Mostly my knees. Like I can do the squats. It's the moving a bit, the moving events. Trying to run under that kind of load. I don't know that like my knees can take that kind of abuse at this point. So I just kind of got worried about it. I'm like, I'm getting older. Like I put on the weight to do it. That's why I hit like 275. I was trying to get it. Mass moves mass. Like me at 200, 205, I'm never going to do big enough numbers to matter. And you've never met Troy, right? No. So Troy we're the same height, but last time I saw him, well, actually when I was like getting heavy to try to compete, because I was going to go start training with him. I was going to have him start being my trainer. I went in and I was like, I was all proud. I hadn't seen him in like 6 months. I'd finally hit 270, 275. And I was like, as big as I'd ever been. Never thought I could be that big. And I come rolling in. And I'm like, bro, 275. And I look at him. I was like, you got bigger, didn't you? He goes, yeah, I'm 325. I'm like,
He's a big dude. He's
Like-
cool as heck, though.
The dude's a monster, but he's also just built big. Like if I changed my diet back and stopped doing anything that I'm doing, I would drop back down to being like probably just under 200 pounds. Like my natural body weight was like 185, 190. And I don't like it. I don't like being small. And I talk about this all the time. I've got what I call bigorexia. No matter how big I get, I still feel like a small human. Like, it's not until I see like a picture of me with other people where I'm like, holy crap, I'm that much wider than they are. Like, I'm that much whatever. Like, damn, I'm not that small. But then just sitting here right now, I feel like I'm like 180. Like, it's weird. It's a weird psychological problem I've got. And I think it comes from being bullied my entire life for being the smaller guy.
Well, how big were you in high school? Like, what did you weigh? Because you were still 6'2".
Yeah, I think I hit 6'2" in high school, and I was 165.
Just a beanpole,
Yeah,
man.
you and Dana, dude, you guys were so tiny. I remember.
Well,
Last time I
in
saw
comparison
Dana,
to
he
your
still
height.
was.
Dana was 130.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
weighed what I did most of the time.
I haven't seen him in a few years, but last time I saw him, he was still really thin.
He's gained weight, but he's so tall that the weight he's gained is all muscle. So it's
Yeah.
he still looks thin, but he's not thin.
No, he's gotten big.
Does he?
I
haven't
think he probably
seen
weighs
him.
180, 200 now. Would be my
I
guess.
think he was at 195, but that
Yeah.
was probably like 4 or 5 years ago that he told me that. So,
Yeah, he got a lot bigger.
but he's also not training just to get big.
Yeah, he's training for movement,
Movement, he's running.
versatility.
So,
Bortak.
He's the guy that takes out the guy that takes out the guy.
yeah.
Yeah, he's the Bortak friend.
How long has it been since you talked to him?
I reached out to him the other day, so a week or two ago.
Sorry, south of the border, can't talk.
He showed me some interesting pictures last time I saw him, but that was a while ago.
Yeah. So last I talked to him, he was up north fishing and just living his life.
Yeah.
What? That sounds stupid. Living life. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Told me where he was going because I was trying to set up a meet, and I haven't been out to his house in Texas yet, and he's asked me to go out there a couple times, and just hasn't worked out.
He bought a house in Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Last I knew, he was still living with one of the guys that he worked with. So that was a while ago, though.
No, he's got his own house, and wants to do a couple things to it. So I was going to go help him, and we were going to make a weekend out of it, go golfing and whatnot. So reached out to him to see if I could set it up. He's like, I'm going to be gone. So
Work.
yep.
So whereabouts, without getting too specific, like whereabouts in Texas is he?
West side.
West, yep.
There's a lot of West in Texas, just to be
Yeah.
very clear.
Yeah, West
That it was like
Texas,
the-
as
I
they
mean, if
call
we're not
it.
getting super specific, it's
Well, like, what's the nearest big city?
no idea. Us.
Us. The town that hasn't quite hit 1 million people.
His location for his house is even secretive. So
Yeah.
just kidding.
Well, that's why I said like the nearest town. Like if he was like Dallas, Fort Worth, or if he was
Yeah.
farther in
I
a
have-
different direction.
I didn't even know he had a house, so I can't help you there.
Which is hilarious that, like, because he could have gotten a house much earlier than probably any one of us.
Well, he had a house,
He had
and
a
then he
house.
sold it,
But
and then he moved. He was moving around so much.
but
he
that's what
didn't-
I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
But all the people I know of that are in like the same field are kind of stationary for a
Dude,
while
I still
because they're not quite in the same tier of the same field.
Yeah.
So
Well, he was only supposed to be over there for 2 years, and then 2 years turned into
6.
yeah, because I think the last time I saw him was like 6 years.
No,
6 years ago.
No, I think it's been 10 years now.
It's been that long, Jesus.
I'm trying to think if the last time I saw him, if I was in this relationship or not.
And you should have.
I went to the casino
Been
the last
there.
time I saw him.
You should have just not been lazy and done it.
I was worried about the job that I just got at the time.
Yeah, I know.
Turns out,
He talked Dana into doing the Border Patrol test, and then Dana ends up going, and he's stuck here with us peons.
yep. I could have been doing that maybe. I don't think I would have ever been in the position that Dana's in.
You never know.
I
You don't think
I
you would have
would've-
been driven?
No one ever
to do
thought
it, or-
I don't
Dan-
think. Yeah, I don't think I would have wanted to.
I was
I
saying,
don't
think
know
you would
if
have been
Dana
capable.
ever wanted. Back in the day, thinking, I did not think Dana was that driven either, though.
Yeah, but
I love how vague
when
we
I think
have to
about
be
Dana
right
in
now.
the past, he was second in high school for like what is that?
Being lazy?
Well, being lazy. No,
Height.
you got valedictorian and then
Salutatorian.
salutatorian. So he was number 2, like the whole time. He never tried.
I didn't even know
Was he
that.
really?
Yeah.
So who was Val?
I think her name was Val. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember. Oh, no. Jessica Bates? Was it Jessica Bates? I know she was up there.
I don't remember, but I know he was number 2.
And you should hit that.
Like-
you should
like
hit him
you
with that
never-
all the time. He's like, hey, bro, you're always going to be second best.
I don't know if he finished second. I think he stopped trying, like in senior year, because he already had his scholarship.
So I finished school. I don't even remember what it was, like 3.6 something. So not terrible, but not great by any means. And I remember when we were all like standing in line, they were giving everybody the little sashes and stuff for like the clubs or whatever they were in. And I was just like, I'm not getting anything. They walked by and they started putting stuff on me. I was like, what is this? And they're like, oh, you're graduating with honors. You got this. And I was like, how? I didn't even show up half of my senior year. How am I even graduating?
That's not, strictly speaking, that's not true. I didn't show up for at least half of my senior year.
Wait, Randy, I don't remember you in high school at all.
It's because I left after 2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
my junior year, I failed Spanish 3-4 because I was gone. We hadn't even done finals yet. So it was probably 2 weeks from school ending, 90 days in a semester. I had missed 52 days that semester. That's why he failed me. Not because I didn't have a good grade.
I'm a high school dropout. Yeah, but I'm a dropout. That was
Yeah.
my point. No, I went to Marana for 2 years. First year, like everything was fine. Like I did my diligence or whatever, did the minimum. Second year, I started becoming friends with all of the wrong people and chasing like clout, money, things like that became far more important because, like I said, I was bullied, and I'm not making excuses, just stating facts. Because I was like bullied and I was unpopular and all that all through like grade school. And then junior high I wasn't really bullied, and I started becoming like popular. And that little bit kind of went to my head because it was such a polar opposite of what I was used to that I started chasing that like feeling of acceptance and like, oh my God, this girl thinks I'm good looking or whatever. Like I started filling my tank off of what other people had to say about me. And I kind of kept chasing that, and I wasn't mature enough to like, oh, this is important. I should get good grades. I should learn something. I learned the things I was interested in. So like English, like world studies, history, math, and science. I was bored to tears. So I just kind of stopped trying. And then eventually I got in with like all of the wrong people, but at the time were the cool kids that I wanted to be just like. And strayed way outside of that and stopped doing homework, stopped doing anything, started making scenes in class. Like because then I started fighting. So then if someone said something just wrong enough, and that could be looking at me weird because I was that far like crazy, everything set me off. And it was like making up for like insecurity. I just kind of like overcorrected with my internal nonsense. And then I'd just pick fights and cause scenes and crap. So MCAT was started, so Marana Career and Technical School.
Right.
I'm a year one of MCAT.
Okay.
So I'm one of the dangerous minds, if you will, that first went there. So the first year was only like 75 students or something. And my first year there, I was doing really good. Like I was catching up on credits. I was actually paying attention and applying myself. Math, I still slept through most of those classes. But that started with Mary Lou Bauer, even though I loved her. I slept through all of her math classes, all through high school, everything. But I started actually like applying myself and trying. But when you take all of the wrong kids from Marana and all of the wrong kids from Mountain View and put them together, things kind of, they don't mix. So then I just...
The math didn't work out. The double negative didn't
Double
make a
negative
positive.
did not make a positive, bro. It pushed me farther into like crime, let's say, and chasing all the wrong things in life. And then eventually just kind of knocked up a girl and then dropped out and started working to try to raise a child because I wasn't gonna be that guy. They're like, oh yeah, I got someone pregnant and I have nothing to do with it. So, and then from there just started working.
And
So
you
I
met
chased all the wrong shit, dude.
You just met that child.
Yeah, that's the one. But then having him is what like corrected me back. So
Being a functional human being.
Nick and I actually talk about this a lot. We've actually talked about this a lot this week. I figure the 3 years I spent really screwing off my life and just like not giving a damn about anything important took me about 10 to 12 years to like course correct to get myself back on track. Like at that trajectory, I would have never had this house, the cars I have, like any of the things I have. Like, I mean, I'm not bragging. I'm just stating facts. Like, I never would have had the ability to buy like all those RC cars you saw or the 3D printer. Like, I never would have been in this position. And I personally accredit all of that to like me coming closer to God and becoming like a grounded Christian man. I still cuss and I'm still kind of a, but I'm trying. But like I had to overcome my own nonsense. Like I don't blame anyone else. It was my fault.
Yeah.
Like I made those decisions and I had to lie in that filthy bed for a while. But like her getting pregnant with Daniel was what, like, I was like, oh wow. Like
That
I
was
need
the
to
start of him.
that was like the
fixing things.
kickstart to like, oh crap, you've got a lot of ground to cover. Start running, and then just haven't stopped. But yeah, that's why you don't remember me, because I was only there for 2 years. And for the first 2 years I was there, we still hung out a lot. I was still with Dan and Matt and everybody else. But I was also running around with a whole nother group of people.
Yeah, well, sophomore year is my first year there. So
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like knee deep in nonsense.
well, I didn't know anybody,
You were very quiet.
and I was very, very quiet.
That changed very quickly. After high school. After high school. You were definitely not quiet now.
Only on certain things. He's still been pretty chill. He's still a good listener.
Yeah, I still remember you at a Halloween party at Dan's house showing up as a stripper. Was it a stripper? I don't remember why you were wearing heels.
He showed up as a ladder man.
Yeah, Carl and Dana, we all dressed up as women.
I vaguely remember that.
And then Dana did Cyclone. Was that Move Your Body Like a Was that the same
Yeah,
year?
I think so.
I just remember Dana, like this tall, skinny man, just doing like way further back than I could ever bend. I was like, whoa.
For
That's
the record, I was just not. I looked like a dude dressed up as a girl.
Yeah.
Dana
Dana
was
looked
not-
like a girl.
Dana looked
I can
like
see
an ugly
that.
girl.
Dana's got the chiseled features. Like,
Yeah.
he's got the Julia Roberts.
If he had the
going
soft
on.
features, he might be a pretty woman.
Well, see, and we're both baby faced.
Yeah.
So we couldn't really pull it off. He'd be like, that's a chubby dude.
So you think I could? Is that what you're saying here?
I think you could.
Only if I keep the beard.
No, I just recognize every time he smiles, I recognize the
Yeah.
cheeks
Yep.
because I have them. But yeah, that's why I wasn't really around. And then I spent years like in a miserable marriage, so I wasn't around often anyway. But I was thinking about kind of on that, probably why we didn't really get to know each other until later in life, is like through my nonsense. Like, I thought about this the other day, mostly because we've been talking about like real shit. Is how we're still friends, like baffles me. Like I get it now, like where we are now, but like back then, like how you didn't completely distance, like because there was distance.
Yeah.
And again, like I take blame for all of what I'm doing. It's not your fault at all. But like there was never,
It's a little your fault.
you never, but like
I was probably, and I'm not just saying this to brag, I was definitely one of the best influences in his life. Because
Yeah.
even though I was underage drinking or doing some of those dumb things,
and in the mix,
I
of
wasn't
most of the stuff I was
drugs,
doing.
stealing. Like I was a better influence, and I know that I could have been better back then, but I definitely was not the worst person that he was hanging out
Right,
with
you
by
were
far.
doing normal teenager things.
Yeah, like, and we did all the normal teenage things together, and we've talked about some of them on here. Go back and watch all the other old
Watch him,
videos.
Trent. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But like all the heavier nonsense I got into, like, and you were aware, like I never hid it from you.
No.
Like I was talking about it. How me and John weren't closer at that time is beyond me, because I was following in his footsteps very much. And that's kind of the like downside of not having an older brother or like older people around. You just kind of start chasing the wrong nonsense. And then, but then seeing John, and John was my de facto older brother, it's like, he's up to some fun stuff. He's always got money and cool things. I'm going to do what he does. And then kind of did. But like how you never ostracized me, I'm like, man, I'd have cut my ass out of my life a long time ago.
Dude, there's very few people that if they came back into my life and talked to me, I wouldn't talk to them. And there were moments where I was like, I don't know if I'll ever see Randy again. Like, because you would just go do stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I never knew if you'd get arrested or if you
Same.
would end up staying in Texas. Like,
Yeah.
you had a whole bunch of stuff going on, but there was never a point where I was like, you've never done anything to me bad
Nope.
enough. And I know we fought back in the day a lot because we were kids stuff.
It was always stupid stuff, though.
But
like,
other than that, like, I've never, same thing with Trent. Like, I can't name anything except for maybe like calling each other names, beer pong, or like dumb little things that sometimes you get pissed off about.
Sure.
But I've never.
I was probably an asshole in beer pong.
You for
we
sure
all were.
when I started plumbing work, you were not the nicest to me either. But I knew it was just because you thought you could be like that with me. You didn't care. There were sometimes you'd make a comment like slow fuck or something like that, and I'm like, I'm fucking busting my ass. Like, I'm trying. And I'm smaller than you. I weighed nothing at the time. So you're like, oh, just pick up 2 toilets and carry them in. And I was like, bro, 1 toilet is like my max clean. You'd say shit like that. And I'm like, not even that it hurt my feelings, but like, I was just like, damn, dude, chill the fuck out for a minute. I'm trying here. But other than that, like, that's like the worst I can say. And it was just you trying to make me better at what I was doing, not you being an asshole, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I was probably just teaching you the way I was taught.
And to be clear, you were an asshole during beer
Were you
pong.
taught by
Yeah, I was so overconfident in beer pong. I probably wasn't great at all, but I thought I was.
It's because you had just enough drinks to be like,
Yep.
I'm amazing at this. That's how most people are at pool. Like, I'm amazing. Dude, you've had 4 drinks. I know. That's what makes me... I'm in the zone right now.
Yeah.
Like, you just bricked that shot. It was all the plan. But everyone, we were all, like, running our mouths at beer pong.
Yeah.
That's half of the game. You have to
Yeah.
get inside the other person's head and screw with them.
I know. Do you remember when all the girls started, like, showing cleavage and stuff like that? They would, like, try to, like, distract you.
There were
And I'm
a
like,
couple.
half of them that we hung out with, it was like, you're showing nothing. Like, you have nothing of interest. So I'm just going to make this shot.
That washboard ain't doing nothing for me, girl.
It was so funny. Like, Jessica, I know our friend Jessica passed away. I'm not making fun of her anyway, but she just had nothing. And it was like the funniest thing when she would like try to be a pretty girl that was trying to be sexy, and you're just like, this has got nothing for me here. I just gonna
I would have more to show off.
if I went to the gym, I would have. I loved her to death, and I loved a lot of those girls to death. Like, they were cool, but just no. It was not entertaining.
So what do you do outside of work, buddy? Anything fun?
Take care of his kids.
Yeah,
Is that it?
watch kids, and then, yeah, work.
Working sucks.
I
You
should
did-
really like my job right now, though. So
Do you want to talk about what you do?
I
You
mean,
don't have
Don't
to
name a
name your
company.
company.
Don't name
Yeah.
a company.
I'm a construction manager, and so I just schedule other people to come in and build houses, and I really like where I'm at right now.
Yeah. His last job he hated.
Oh, it was the worst. I was working at an apartment complex,
Oof.
and it just wasn't a good experience. I learned some cool things. I'm thankful for the experience because I'm sure I appreciate my job now
More.
more. It turns out that they're actually not building any more in Tucson or something, is what I've heard.
Oh, so they wouldn't have even had a job, probably?
Yeah, so I'd probably be out of job right now. So I feel very blessed to kind of be in the position that I am right now. But yeah, my job is awesome. It's going great. I've really taken my community and ran with it, and I'm out in front. So I'm actually able to go to other sites and help out a little bit more. which is good. So,
You've been doing this stuff for what, 8 or 9 years now?
yeah, it was 9 years I left plumbing.
No.
I didn't realize it had been that long.
Dude.
I remember when you said he did.
Yeah.
But
Working at plumbing.
which means you
with
can't get me pecs anymore, can you?
I mean, how much do you need?
Sweet. We'll talk after. Not as much as Captain needed.
Okay.
So I know both of you have known my work history is like one of the weirdest ones probably. If anybody, I've done dirt testing, I've done all kinds of stuff.
I'd say I've got one that beats you, but yes, continue.
The two biggest pain in the butt jobs I've ever had were also the two funnest because I worked with you two.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I worked with John, I worked with you, and that was the best.
Didn't you come
times.
help us a couple times on houses?
He would do some random stuff.
Because I know
for John back in the day.
Carl came in a bunch of times.
I know I went over to one of the houses, and there was another house that John called me to go help out with plumbing on.
Oh, okay. But nothing crazy.
No.
Because I know we
nothing
used to be able to steal Carl all the time.
Yeah, we just steal Carl and have him come do roofing jobs or stuff with us. We had it was a 3-to-1 pitch house, which was just terrible, the roofing. And I mean, we did things all up to OSHA standards, so we were, clipped in and
Harnessed
everything.
in, yeah.
But
We had
I
toe
remember,
boards.
I remember Carl being in the top left corner of the one peak. So he's in the top left corner over here, and he starts sliding down, and he just like ran into the corner and up the other side. He's like, that one almost didn't end well. One of the funniest things, dude.
That reminds me of when I worked with Carl. We were doing solar water heaters.
Oof.
And we were on a super pitched roof, and I went to go grab something or nail something in, do something. And all of a sudden, I just start sliding down, and I'm getting closer and closer to the edge, and I'm just like starting to grab onto anything and everything. And luckily, I stopped myself. I was like, that was about to end really bad.
I was really hoping you were going to say I grabbed Carl.
No, I would have if he was close.
If I'm going, you're going with me, boy.
Dude, I still we talked about it earlier, so I'm going to have you tell the story because it's way funnier than when I tell the story. But working with this guy when I started the house on fire as a plumber, which sounds moronic.
I've known a few AC guys to do that to buildings, so yeah.
But I was on the
Happens.
phone with him.
Yeah.
And I'm going to, before you start, I'm going to specify. I had called, I was new to plumbing. I had called and said, I don't feel comfortable to do this. And your dad just told me to do it anyway. Who was my boss? So, having said that, go ahead, Trent.
Yeah, so I'll preface with, Nick did just start going out on his own, but I think he'd been going out on his own for probably a couple months by then.
Still probably within 6 to 8 months of me being there.
Probably, but he was working on houses by himself for a couple months. So
I know my limitations, and I call and say, hey, I shouldn't be doing this.
Anyway, so Nick and I would call, would talk on the phone like we were still working together while we were working in separate areas. And Nick calls me, we're talking on the phone, I'm working, he's working, and he's telling me about this copper line in the house, and he's like, I don't think I can solder this. I'm like, well, I don't understand. You got to explain it a little bit more. And he's like, well, it's in the house. There's this black paper around it, and, I'm trying to get it. I'm like, well, here's what you do. And I explained it a little bit to him. And then the next thing I know, I just hear, if we're not cussing, he's just saying the F word over and over and over again. And he's going, F, 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 Trent, F. I just set this house on fire. F. Oh, F. Trent, I just set this house on fire. I gotta go. I just set this house on fire.
And then I don't let him go.
And then he continues to talk to me for another 10 minutes, basically just repeating that. He's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, go get some water, go get a fire hydrant, something. But yeah, just 10 minutes of F, I just set this house on fire. I gotta go. Over and over and over again. And it was probably one of my favorite memories to this day.
So, it was the TMP line for a water heater, and they go into the wall, down through inside the wall, and then outside and 90 down, so that when you push the TMP line on your water heater, it blows the water out of there. And it was inside, and when I think I was explaining it to them, I think they thought that it was the piece inside, like the piece coming out of the wall that was messed up, but it was the piece inside the wall.
Yeah,
that
I
was
totally
messed up.
thought it was the outside piece had been crushed or cut.
So I'm looking at it like, I can't do that because the 90's way in there, and they're like, just put the 90 on the end and you're fine. Like, I think it was like a miscommunication highly on my end. Pictures on phones would have been way better back then. Don't know why I didn't do that. But yeah, it was, oh man, I remember like hitting the stucco. I started breaking the stucco, but there's chicken wire on it.
Yeah.
I like messed my hand up really bad trying to hit the stucco to get the hose in to like put water in the wall, and it was bad.
Yeah, had I known now, like, or then what I know now, I would have told him just cut the drywall on the inside, cut the copper, put on a coupling, a new 90, just run it outside. It's going to be a little bit of drywall repair. It's not going to be a big issue.
So I had asked his dad already, and the hole was like this big around it was all, but there was still the paper and some of the other, like the mesh was still like partway in that hole for that 3/4 inch line. And so I was like, hey, can I break this any bigger? And he said, no, you can't do that. And I was like, can I cut the drywall? He's like, no. I was like, okay. So then I'm stuck doing this. So that's why I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, if there's ever a choice between the two, you go with the drywall every time.
Yeah. Well, they already had to do stucco patches, was my thought, and they didn't have to do drywall. So that's where my head was. But I
You weren't
understand
confident.
that
You weren't confident enough to just make a decision.
So in the position that I am now, I am a construction manager. I can tell you for a fact that they did have drywall scheduled to come back after you.
Well, see, and I don't know that when I'm doing plumbing.
Yeah.
And back then, I was still young. Like, we were still young kids. Like,
Yeah.
we still went to the store and would stand in line to buy scratchers until one of us won. We would go
Yeah,
through 8
that was-
scratchers till one of us won our money back.
That was
and
great,
waste
too.
$200 because we were dumb.
Yeah.
I'd go up and buy one, and if I lost, then Trent would buy one, and then I would buy one, and then we would wait for someone to go through and buy their stuff, and we're like, they're waiting for us at job sites, and we're just like buying scratchers. It was the silliest thing ever.
Yeah, and we would alternate who went first each day.
It was, dude, we did it like every other day for a couple of months there. I think.
Yeah, it was basically every day, and it was if one of us won, you or even just got our money back on that first one, it was over. But
Just go until someone wins.
someone was going to get a winner. We never knew how much. Most of the time, we lost more money than
Then you won back.
we won back. But
That sounds a lot like so back when we were working out of town on houses, on our way up on Monday, we'd stop at a casino. And it started with me and John. There was a trip that just John and I were taking up to Scottsdale. And like we were having kind of a rough morning. Like we got out of there later than we wanted to. Like just everything was going wrong. And he was like, I want to stop at the casino. You want to stop at the casino? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So it's like 11 in the morning. We're just strolling into like Talking Stick or one of them. Sit down, start gambling, gamble for like an hour and a half, do well. And we're like, all right, cool. Ready to start the day now? And I was like, yeah. So then we still had like 45 minutes to drive, get there, start working or whatever. And then we're up there for like a day or two. And on our way back, he's like, you want to stop at the casino? I said, absolutely. Let's do it. So we stop, do okay, come home. Well, then we're telling everyone else about it on our next trip. We're like, yeah, let's all stop at the casino on our way there. So started going, we'd go up Monday morning, we'd stop. We'd come back Wednesday afternoon, we'd stop. We'd turn around and go back Thursday, we'd stop, and then we'd come back Friday and we'd stop. So we'd hit the casino 4 times in a week because we're like, this sucks. We're all leaving home for most of the week to go work. And we're going to work insane, stupid hours. I mean, we were putting in like 16, 18-hour days most of the time, trying to make schedule. We'd get to a point where we're all just delirious and just amped on energy drinks and not really doing the best job, but we had ground we had to cover in order to get like the next paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just going. We were sleeping on air mattresses in the houses.
In the house we were working in. Dude, it was one of my favorite memories of that whole situation. We were getting the Saltillo out of that one house. I always forget. There's like 6 houses up there, and I
The
forget which one.
first one?
No,
with the big
second one
pillars?
with the copper. The second one with the big copper wraparounds on everything. The one the Bobcat was in.
Okay. Yep.
So, that's all
I would have
understand.
went with that description first.
Well-
you don't forget a bobcat in a
no,
house.
it was
the
more than
copper
that.
The copper, there was seriously like 12-inch and 6-inch strips, would you say? Ish?
Something like
around
that.
the entire front of the house of like patinaed copper.
Yeah.
And so we went and recycled it and got like, that was one of our casino trips.
Yeah.
So, but that was enough for all of us to go. But it was a very distinct house. But we were there. We had spent the night, and it was one of the nights we were leaving, or it was our middle night, so we were there all day. We worked till like 11 at night or something the first night, and then fell asleep. And these guys hated me because I'd just get up and start jackhammering. I'm like, we got to work. Like, I don't care. So I'm up at like 6 in the morning. I could take a shower in.
We'd always keep one bathroom, like
Functioning, yeah.
Yeah.
So I took my shower. I went in and started jackhammering. So everybody's up at like 7-ish and
And we
working.
didn't.
at
And we
that
didn't go to
time.
bed till like midnight, 1 a.m.
Yeah,
Like
because we still hang out for like an hour before bed too.
we'd have to eat.
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
Get ready for the night.
So
like,
then we go.
Yeah,
And
I remember hearing stories about that. There were crazy hours.
Yes.
and it was in Scottsdale.
Yep.
So this is we're working like crazy hours. We're all working like 7. We're jackhammering. I left and I grabbed food for everyone, and I think that's the only time anyone stopped that day, really.
Yeah.
Besides for maybe a quick breather outside, because I don't know if you've ever done that much, but like if you're jackhammering that much, it doesn't matter what masks you wear. As soon as the mask clogs up, you can't breathe. So we
Right.
really weren't wearing masks.
Yeah, I was wearing most of the time. I'd have a bandana
Yeah.
tied around my face,
We'd still have
and then just
something.
rinse it off every like hour or whatever, and keep going.
Yep.
So that was literally our day. And like it was like 11 o'clock at night, and we finally all stopped. And I remember Danny jumped in the pool after
I
our
did.
little thing.
I think I was the first one because I was telling John, I was like, "Bro, I need a like," and he was like, "Jump in the shower, jump in the pool." So I jumped in the pool, and then we all just kind of chilled
But-
by the pool.
We went to Walmart in Scottsdale in my truck, which is new at the time.
Yeah, he hadn't had it very long.
2012 Ram 3500, nice truck at the time, like awesome, expensive-ish truck. I was the cheapest vehicle
In the parking lot.
Walmart parking lot in Scottsdale.
By like a significant margin.
Yeah, like there's
Like,
like
it was-
Ferraris and
it was-
Roushes and like
Wall to wall Range Rovers.
yeah,
Yep.
And then you had like all of you. Yeah, there's a couple like Bentleys.
yeah.
You had
I
some,
felt so
like-
poor. We literally were looking, and there was not another
And
vehicle.
most of us are wearing or half of us are wearing beaters. Like me and Danny are just wearing beaters.
all covered
like-
in dust still. We
and
haven't
shorts.
washed off at all yet at this point.
Yeah.
Shorts, beaters,
Dog
like,
tired.
covered. Like your face is covered everywhere, but where your mask was, or maybe if you had glasses. And we're walking into Walmart, and so you feel out of place anyways. And so this whole situation is just weird.
was so- and we're all tired,
We're grabbing
so-
food to eat and stuff. And like he's
Yeah,
got like 4 things in his hand. I've got like 4 in mine.
I had like deodorant and and body wash because I didn't bring enough.
Yeah. So like we've got like stuff, but then like 1 or 2 things of food. And then Danny comes running down the aisle, bro, and he's got like 8 things stacked in his hand. Like he's like hands as far down as he can, stacked up, holding it with his chin. Just
Like-
holding all
like-
of this food.
Like the fat mouse Gus Gus and Cinderella,
And
bro.
he's like, can one of you guys grab this cake? Can one of you guys grab this?
I forgot about the cake.
It was like this little tiny, one of those little square things of cake. He's like, can one of you guys grab this cake? And I was like, oh my gosh, bro. It was the funniest thing because there's like all these like people dressed in suits and stuff in Walmart, which is just weird to me. But like, was staring at us like, what the hell are these guys doing here?
Yeah, and the other thing that started with that was the gym. Like, where are you going? The gym? Because everyone there was dressed like they were going to or leaving the gym. Everywhere up there, man. Every time we go anywhere, just women wearing the spandex, like dudes wearing like gym shorts and like tank tops or whatever. We're like, does everyone here go to the gym?
Yeah, probably.
Like, and we were all in really good shape at the time, and like we were all thin, but we were all in really good shape. We're like, does just everyone go to the gym? Oh yeah, that's why I normally close the door.
Oh, sorry.
Being berated. Hey, they're berating him, not me.
yeah, I just got attacked.
Yeah, you just hear my shepherd clippity clopping across the floor.
memories from that.
My favorite one from that my favorite one hands down was the hammer. So in that same house,
Randy almost dying.
yeah.
Oh
So
my
in
God.
that house, the master section of the house was its own wing of the house.
Okay.
It was like 14 to 1600 square feet for the master section.
It's a big house when you have a wing.
Yes.
The master section.
Yeah,
was
section, dude.
14,
And it was a
1600 square
long,
feet.
it was a long,
section.
yeah, just that section, and it's a long hallway. It was like a 25, maybe 30-foot hallway,
to get into the
and like wide, like 6.5-foot hallway with like 10-foot ceilings.
That
and
was
you're
the
walking.
electric hallway.
Yes, the electric hallway. So we're walking, and you walk past like the laundry section where your laundry would get done, and so you got your washer and dryer, and you have this countertop, and the back wall, part of it you could push down, which became the rest of a countertop on the other side of the wall in the master closet, which was a long countertop that you could fold your laundry, push it through the wall into the closet, walk around into your closet, and then put your clothes away.
It was
It was
actually
very
cool.
dude, like it was pretty dope. The house was pretty sweet, but it's built on the edge of a hill, so it was a downward hill, like downward hallway into the master, and then the master was actually like a pit. It actually dropped down like 2 feet, and then you had your giant walk-in shower, your toilet, your big jacuzzi tub, the wall with the pocket door where the jacuzzi tub and the closet is where the bobcat cubs were in. So we actually had 4 bobcat cubs in the house, and the mom outside. I've got pictures. I'll find them and show them to you.
Staring at us.
Because
It was
this entire
creepy.
side
We're
of the
like, we're
house
gonna
is
die if
also
she gets in here.
window. The whole thing is just corner to corner glass. So there's only a few sections of actual wall. It's just window down that entire run of that hallway, all around the master. The stand-in shower was actually like the whole section of the bathroom was all glass floor to ceiling. They actually had a privacy shutter that you could hit a button and close a metal shutter. So if you're taking a shower and you don't want to get looked in on, you could have privacy.
Wow.
So I'm in there and I'm working on the electrical in the bathroom. So like I'm eliminating some things, like they had a section of like towel warmers we were removing. We were rearranging lights and stuff. So I'm in there doing electrical, and I'm the only one in that section of the house. And all I hear is my name being called. And I'm like, what the hell? And they're like, Randy! And I poke my head around the corner, and there was at the top of that hallway where the master suite begins was another pocket door that was all glass that you could actually close off the entire wing of the house. It was really thick, big glass window, beautiful panes and everything. So I hear my name, and I poke my head around the corner, right? And I just see John do this with a 10-pound double jack. And it goes through that door, so that just explodes. And then the hammer goes woof, right past my face and lands in the master floor. So like they were like trying to get me because I was on the other side, and they wanted to blow up that thing, but they thought they'd hit it with the hammer, and the hammer would just kind of fall.
because we'd hit it so many times. That
They
it
were
wouldn't
trying to break it, and I didn't hear it.
We were like, dude, I no joke. I probably hit it 50 times with that thing, and that glass would not break. John hit it like 50 times. Danny hit it like 50 times. Jeremy Serrano hit it like 50 times, and it would not break. We tried breaking that glass so much, so we just thought it wouldn't do anything.
So they wanted to just have me on the other side and go, oh, you know. And then I did, because that 10-pound double jack just went end over end right past my face. I was like, whoa! And I'm like, what the hell? They're like, are you okay? I was like, yeah. They're like, I was like, that was pretty rad. They're like, oh, it was so cool. But yeah, that thing flew, dude, all the way down.
I thought he was going to die as soon as he went through. 'Cause he would've- if John would have waited half a second longer, it would have hit him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I had just started walking out, and I was like, whoa! Because I just went, and the hammer just goes flying. I'm like, what the hell? They're like, we're so sorry, man. We were just, and then they tell me the story. We're like, all right. But yeah, that place was pretty cool. I liked the first house the most, though.
Yeah.
With the big pillars where John busted up his foot.
Yeah.
But
we were jackhammering these pillars for like 3 days.
dude, that
I think.
sucked so
And
bad.
they-
like White House pillars.
Yeah.
Inside the house.
So you walk in and they were like, you walked into the house and you could go this way, or down into a weird room that was like, I'd say a dining.
Like a big anteroom.
Yeah.
But it had like the big French doors to go out onto the pool
Yeah.
deck.
So it was like for entertainment for sure, but there was these 2 big pillars that didn't touch the ceiling. There was just these 2 giant
Yeah, they
pillars.
weren't structurally
So we were
integral.
like, oh, we'll push them over. Maybe they'll crack. No.
Reinforced concrete.
we had 2 jackhammers, and we were jackhammering on them for pretty much 3 days and broke them into like smaller pieces. But it was like had mesh wiring through it, so it wasn't like breaking
Rebar
apart.
everywhere.
Rebar everywhere. It was a pain in the butt to get them apart, and we got it into one section that was probably like this tall, and like part of a pillar still. And we're like, yeah, we'll have to jackhammer. And John's like, no, we got to get it out. Like, we're not getting paid.
It was like
right
400
now.
pounds.
We need to get him out. And it was like 400 pounds. So we got it on this thing and started wheeling it. And John was pulling, and we were like helping him push it.
Go through the garage. So we hit the garage, like the door going from the house to the garage. We hit that doorway.
And as soon as we hit the door, like the doorway, it hit that little thing and fell on John.
Oh,
And this is like 400 pounds worth of concrete.
And the only way we could help him was either run around to get out, because it's the doorway and there's this giant pillar in the way, or to go over it. So John's like, go over it, it's gonna hurt, go over it. And we like jump over it and we like pick it up to get it. Luckily, he didn't break anything. But
Messed him up for a few days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. So yeah, we were the first day of demo. Travis, the investor we worked for, he'd buy the houses and we were his general contractors. The first bathroom, big walk-in bath, but it had one of the step-in showers, so you had like a partial pony wall. So you'd walk around to get into the shower, but there were no curtains, no doors, no anything. You just step down into the shower. So it's tile everywhere. And so we're doing the tour, and he's telling us, this goes, this goes. We're like marking what needs to go because it's demo first. So he's like, yep, this goes, this goes, this goes, this goes. So we do the tour real quick, and then John's still talking to Travis. And we're like, all right, we're good to start? And he's like, yep, go start. So I go in, and I'd already told Nick what I was planning on doing. So I went in with spray paint, and I spray painted a target on the back wall of the shower. And I was like, Nick, come here. He goes, what? And I took a hammer, a double jack, and just threw it, and it stuck into the wall. And I said, your turn. So we played darts with hammers into the back wall to slowly demo it. Travis came back in to walk around to say something else, saw what we were doing, and I was like, you said it all goes. And he was like, he just starts laughing. And he was like, all right, at least you're making it fun. And he was like, yeah, I also need this. And he was like just going to tell me something else, but hadn't really dealt with us doing demo on a big job. Everything else we'd done for him was like build up, not tear down. Mm-hmm. So he'd never seen our demo style. And he was like, all right. Like, hey man, we're going to have fun while we're doing it. Somewhere I had pictures of that with a couple of hammers stuck in the wall.
we had to have fun sometimes, dude.
Yeah, we would have gone crazy. Like almost
did
killed
go
Danny.
crazy.
Almost killed Danny a couple times because you just start to grate on each other's nerves after a while. We were installing sliding glass doors, and he kept doing it wrong and was arguing with me.
And Jeremy Serrano's work ethic.
Oh, dude, that sucks so bad.
Oh my God, bro. He would be like, oh, I'm doing everything. And we're like, you've been sitting for 15 minutes.
Remember, so we'd leave. So we would try to be leaving early Monday, right? We'd have to go to John's, load up all of our gear into the trucks, and then leave. And we'd try to get out by like 6 a.m. When Nick lived in those apartments, Serrano lived in the same apartments.
I remember.
So there was one day we were trying to leave, and I was still a single dude, so I just crashed in his spare room. Like when we'd come back into town, I'm like, hey, can I just crash with you? So one morning we're trying to leave, and we're like, where the hell is this guy? We kept texting him and calling him, and we're finally like, dude, we're leaving you. And he's like, I'm so sorry, and he comes running over. And we're like, dude, what the hell? And then his excuse was, when he showers, he doesn't dry his feet. He lets his feet air dry. So we had to wait on him for like half an hour because he won't put on socks when his feet are wet, but he won't towel dry his feet. They
That
need
is
to air
very
dry.
strange. I don't think I've ever heard that before.
Neither had I, which is why it stuck with me 12 years later or whatever it's been.
Bro, it was
I'm
the
like,
weirdest thing ever.
how? What? Why? And he was like, no, I just don't like the towel on my feet. I don't like things on my feet. I'm like, but your socks are on your feet. They're made of the same material as the towel. And he's like, no, man, I towel. I don't towel my feet. I let them air dry. And I'm like, you're going to lose this job. You know that, right?
That was a crazy one.
But anyways, I'm assuming you guys got to get going.
Yeah, we're going to head out here in a second.
Well, thanks for making it, buddy. It's been
Yeah.
fun. Hopefully
Thanks
it
for having
wasn't.
me.
Hopefully you don't feel silly or anything.
We'll see.
It's weird. It's strange getting used to having a camera on you. Like, yeah, my first ones, I did probably 20 videos by myself that will never see the light of day. That was just getting used to this. Nick's first couple, I had to talk. And like when my wife or someone else would see the video, they're like, dude, why didn't you let him talk? I'm like, he wouldn't talk. I wasn't interrupting him. He wasn't saying anything. I did try to, you have to get used to it.
Yeah.
And you've already
Car
talked
ran
more than
real
most.
good.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with my hands. So you've already actually talked way more than anyone else's first video. So
Well,
I commend you, sir.
I'll take that.
So, but thanks for coming, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
It was fun.
Glad you guys could make it today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you guys like this, like Nick said earlier, because I always forget, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Share it out. Try to get more. I'm trying to get more followers. I want to retire, damn it. I'm tired of working. So, Tucson, Arizona, I'm Randy.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Trent.
Thanks for hanging out. Bye.
I guess.